Geography is also so strange. Strange in the sense that which is the one branch and which is the one section from where it has not borrowed. Imagine anything. It has borrowed from physics, it has borrowed from geology, it has borrowed from zoology, it has borrowed from botany, it has borrowed from sociology, it has borrowed from economics, it has borrowed from demography, it has also borrowed from philosophy. The philosophical overtone is, of course, there were some of them who wanted to see it in a philosophical sense of sorts. And that is the reason why they happen to be doing it as well, happen to be borrowing it from philosophy as well. But the basic theme underlying the philosophical nature of geography happens to be associated with its definition. What is geography? And that is it. That is it. Now, on this topic, towards this position, towards the answer of this topic, there are a variety of components which are working, variety of things that are working and functioning. Just think of it. So, if it is that this question is going to be posed to anyone and to maybe any person in general, then there will be one person who will say that geography is a study of astronomy. There'll be another one who will say that geography is study of rocks. There'll be another one who will go on to say that geography is study of climate. There will be a third one who will go on to say that geography is the study of human beings. There'll be a fourth one who will say that geography is the study of economics, and so on and so forth. Now, who is the one who is going to be correct? Which one is the definition that is going to be correct? Can we make it out? No, it's not possible because anyone who is going to be talking about it, everyone has a perspective in this case. Perspective, that means it is through this perspective that they're saying that geography is like such a subject. Geography is like such a type of a science. Or geography is like such type of a social science as well. This is what they are saying in general. That means for anything, there can be a perspective. It's like whether the country should have, in a sense, apologized for the remarks. It was not exactly a remark, but remark that was made by Nupur Sharma on the quoting of a hadith. She only quoted hadith, but then all of those Muslim terrorists, they stood in unison against that, be in India or be outside. And of course, Indian Muslims also showed a lot of solidarity to, they go on to say the same thing. It's like a quote from their own so-called religious scripture about a person who was going to be marrying a girl that was barely 9 years old. And that is quoted from Hadith itself. Otherwise, who is that one who can go to know that? But then the same thing that was said by Salman Khurshid, who said that is who did talk about that Pagambar Muhammad was one of the most gone persons. Then the same thing was being said by a variety of people throughout the whole of the world. But why is it that it was singled out? And why is it that India should have had this reaction? That is a matter of perspective. We are not saying anything in this case that is right or wrong. What we are saying is that for everything there is a perspective. When even even Muhammad had a perspective in trying to marry a 9-year-old girl. Now, even the stance that is going to be taken by the Muslim countries towards it, against it, has a perspective. Then the third is whether India should have apologized or should have asked Nupur Sharma to discontinue as a BJP member was there or not. That is going to be questionable. But then it's a matter of perspective. Whether Prime Minister Modi is the best Prime Minister that the whole of the world has seen is a matter of a perspective. Whether whatever that we happen to be doing in trying to secure Indian identity is again a matter of perspective. So when you study a subject, it's a matter of a perspective. For example, why is it that you study a subject? Why is it that you study civil engineering? Why is it that you study physics? Why is it that you study economics? Why is it that you study sociology? Why is it that you study geography? You study every subject essentially to find a solution to the problem the mankind is facing. So, for any problem, there can be several approaches of sorts. For example, if there is a problem of a population explosion, then you can go to say so many type of approaches. One of these approach, medical approach, will be that people should not be allowed to, if they are healthy, they will not going to produce children, and that is how it is. That's one medical perspective. Economics perspective, that they're going to be drained on the economy. Another economic perspective can be if it is that they can be converted into skill, that opens up a huge market. Then there is a ethical perspective as well. Should people produce so many children or not? Then there is again a jihadi perspective. We're going to produce children come what may, because we have to capture the whole of India as part of Gajwa e Hind. Then there is always going to be sociological perspective. The sociological perspective can be associated with so many people who are going to be there. Then how is it that there can be a good amount of a social structure associated with it? Then there can be fifth perspective, that is a psychological perspective, and that is why is it that people produce children? Why is it that the population keeps on increasing? And why is it that what will be the mindset that will not going to allow it to be growing also? It's like, pick up another analogy. If there is a problem like that of let's say there is a problem associated with certain things like let's say congestion, traffic congestion. Economics will going to talk about that. If there is a traffic congestion, there is so much amount of wastage that is going to be taking place, because all the buses, trucks, all of them, they happen to be standing in that place and they are burning fuel as well. That is one. There can be a second one as well. That is the second part is associated with civil engineering. They're going to say that if there is an issue, build a flyover over and above it. So the problem will going to remain the same, but then you have bypassed the problem with the help of it. Then there'll be a mechanical engineer who will go on to have a solution to how is it that people can go on to do a lot of things from their household and other aspects itself. Then there can be another perspective in with respect to that. A mechanical engineer will try to form a flying car, possibly that will going to surpass a lot of people beneath it and behind it. And that is perspective. So geography has a perspective largely because it is seen through variety of angles. So geography is physical geography, geography is human geography, geography is environmental geography, geography is this, geography is that, geography is that, geography is that, and what not. And that is what perspective is about. So perspective is going to be about what is geography. It has grown out of the fundamental question, trying to answer this fundamental question, that is, what is geography? And it is in the process of trying to answer this fundamental question as to what geography is, it has grown out. So geography is physical geography, that is one perspective. Geography is a mathematical geography, that is one perspective. Geography is human geography, that is one perspective. Geography is settlement geography, that is one perspective. Geography is economic geography, that is one perspective, and so on, so forth. Now, what exactly is it that the students are required to do? So we have said that is there are so many different type of perspectives. So beginning from the very beginning. Now the very beginning, that means geography originated. Where exactly is it that it could have originated? You know that. You know the answer. That is in India itself. But is it acknowledged? No. Why exactly no? Because in the last 70 years in India, the entire of education was in the hands of the jihadi ministers. They, of course, they were the one who were made deliberately, essentially to denigrate India, to denigrate the concept of India, to denigrate the concept of Bharat, and of course Hindus as well in this case. And that's the basic reason. They never allowed They never allowed anyone to come to the truth of what ancient India was, what India was, what was the contribution of Abraham here, what was the contribution of Aryabhatta, to what extent it is. Still, we're just going to take an example. The Muslim world believes that the earth is flat. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? They believe it and they profess it and they take it forward also. They're also going to believe that after that, particularly anyone who has sacrificed his life for jihad. Jihad means killing of kafirs. Kafirs means any of the people who are non-Muslim. So if they kill a kafir, that means anyone who is a non-Muslim, including me, maybe you as well, then they go on to go to heaven, and in heaven they have access to 72 girls, 72 hot girls, with whom they can go to have as much of S S dot dot. You can imagine, you can go to feel anything associated with it. Now that is the charm, that is the basic charm why you're going to find so many people blowing themselves for the purpose of going to heaven and getting those hoods. That is what they want to be calling it. So that is again that has been put in Arabian geographers. Arabian geographers have been a part of it. So a good number of these things have been eliminated. So ancient India not contributed. Thereafter, it was the role of the Christian missionaries. Now, Christian missionaries and their role was most prominent during something like some 7th century AD. But 7th century, before 7th century, almost up till from 3rd to 4th of the century, till 15,000 years back. I'm talking about the Vedic age. That is 15,000 years back. That dates back to it that much. That is, India was flourishing like anything. It was only because they were not able to manage the marauders, and they had faith on them. Faith in the sense that is, they thought that these Muslim invaders are very much like that of human beings only. Now, unmindful of the fact that is, you can go to yourself imagine. That is, you can imagine more good number of these ugly looking invaders who were brutally cruel. They get charm in burning of a library, burning of a university, burning of innocuous people, and that is what they did in Nalanda. That is what they did in almost all the universities of the country. And you must have known that is the books kept on burning, and poor scholars who were there, of course, they never knew how to fight a war and how to fight a pitched battle because they were in a very peaceful atmosphere. They were mercilessly killed only because they were saying that they were not the followers of Islam. So it was then as well. It happens to be now as well. It's only that the form has changed a bit in this case. So this part has been an ancient Indian contribution. That is why it was missed. And then it was the Christian era. Then it was the Muslim era. That is the Arabian contributions. And Arabian contribution, as you're going to find in your book and other places as well, have been highly bloated, and to such an extent that even there, any amount of a mention about the glory of India, about the glory that the Vedic civilization may have been completely missing. So, the first phase was ancient Indian contribution missing, Christian missionaries who were talking about so many things. I mean, demon, God, everything on the earth itself. Arabian scholars say Arabian people they had to go to different territories, capture those territories, and then write something about it. So that has been included as part of it. And then there was the age of explorations and discovery. The world started getting cosmopolitan of sorts. So Marco Polo, Magellan, and so on and so forth. And then people started taking recourse to certain things like science because that was associated with the growth of Europe, with a rise of slight degree of intellectualism also among the people of Europe as well, and that started increasing. And then thereafter, some people started observing certain things and started giving names to it. So some people observe that it is the nature that has the most profound impact on the people. They call it determinism. Then someone gave a different perspective. That means geography at that point of time came to be known as a science that studies the impact of nature on man. That was called as determinism, and geography was determinism. Then it changed in the sense that is the nature offers so many possibilities, and the human beings can go on to pick up any of these type of possibilities. That was possibilism. So geography was something that was possibilism. Its track changed, and then it was again regional concept. That is who are geographers? People who study some exceptional objects and some place on earth. That is what they're going to study, and that is also going to be geography. That is true geography of sorts. So that is going to be another component, regional concept. Then people were fed up with all of those things, and some started saying that is the true geography is one which develops laws, theories, and models. So people must go on to take recourse to mathematics, physics. So that ushered in another definition change, another perspective, and that was quantification. When there was too much amount of a quantification, then people said that is why is it that we going to reduce human being to this study and to something associated only with figures and figures. That means 10, 5, 16, 20, and so on. Why is it not people are not taking recourse to, taking advantage of, or taking anything associated with the mindset of the people? So when we're going to be talking about the mindset of the people, then it is going to be talking about behavior. So it ushered in another change, and that was behavioral revolution. And then when all of these things were going on, then ultimately there was a group that started talking about that geography must go on to confine itself into study of the welfare of the people. So that ushered in another group that was called as welfare-oriented approach in geography, and that was welfare geography as well. So geography kept on changing itself, kept on changing its perspective, kept on changing its perspective. It is this perspective that is going to be significant. Well, having known that, you must realize that this is the toughest section in the whole of geography. And when we say that this is the toughest section, basically it means that it is really, really very tough. Tough in the sense that it is, because it is associated with its inherent philosophy. You have to understand a lot of things deeply going inside. Only then you will be in a position to answer these questions. Associated with perspective in geography. And since civil services, UPSC keeps on changing its a panel of the people who keep on asking questions 3 years. There used to be one of these panels for 3 years who were asking a lot of questions in this case from perspective, and perspective became the most sought after it. Now, no more. It's not going to be anymore, but still you need to know that. You can imagine that is perspective requires a combined effort of preparation of geomorphology, climatology, and oceanography. 3 of them get taken together that you can go to study perspective. Moreover, it requires an absolute command over language. Moreover, it requires so many facts. Moreover, it requires putting the facts in such a manner that the theme and the essence comes out. This is perspective, and that is why perspective is difficult. It is the most difficult section of a geography.
To have more such discussions and analysis, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for notifications on our upcoming videos.